Did you know that as we age, routine and familiarity compress our perception of time, while childhood feels endless due to novelty and rich memory making? Let's explore how our brain's time tricks shape these fleeting moments. Hello, curious minds. Do you remember those long, lazy summers when you were a kid? The days felt like they stretched on forever, as if summer vacation would never end. There were endless afternoons spent running around with friends, doing absolutely nothing, and somehow it was everything. But now, as adults, summers seem to flash by in the blink of an eye. One minute you're pulling out the sunscreen, and the next you're wondering why the stores already are selling Halloween decorations. So, what happened? Why does time feel like it speeds up as we get older? Is it just our imagination? Or is there something real behind this phenomenon? Well, buckle up because today we are going to explore the quirky, nostalgic, and surprisingly scientific reasons why our perception of time changes as we age. When we are kids, time feels slow, like really slow. Do you remember how long it felt to wait for your birthday or Christmas? A year seemed like an eternity. Part of the reason for this is simple. Kids experience everything as new and exciting. Their brains are constantly taking in fresh information, whether it's learning how to tie their shoes, figuring out the rules of a game, or discovering that ants can carry things 10 times their size. Fun fact, they really can. When you are young, novelty plays a huge role in how you perceive time. Your brain has to work harder to process all these new experiences, which makes time feel slower. Think of it this way, your brain is like a computer, and when it is running more complex tasks, time feels stretched out. But as you grow older and those experiences become routine, your brain starts to process them faster, making time feel like it's speeding up. Now, here's where things get really interesting. One of the leading explanations for why time feels faster as we age is something called the proportional theory of time. This theory suggests that our perception of time is related to how long we have been alive. When you're a 5-year-old, 1 year represents a fifth of your entire life, so it feels like a long time. But when you're 50, 1 year is only a 50th of your life, so it feels much shorter by comparison. In other words, as we accumulate more years, each individual year feels like a smaller slice of the pie. This shrinking perception of time is why summers felt endless when we were kids but seem to fly by now. The same theory applies to other time frames, like days and months, which explains why a weekend feels so much shorter now than it did during those long childhood summers. Here is another fun fact about how our brains perceive time. When events are repetitive or familiar, our brains tend to compress them. This is part of how memory works. When we look back on a period of time, like a week at work that followed the same routine as usual, our brain compresses that memory because nothing particularly new or memorable happened. It becomes a blur. Think about how vacations or new experiences, like learning a new hobby or visiting a new place, feel longer in your memory. That's because your brain is working harder to process all the new information, which makes the experience stand out more when you reflect on it. So, if you want time to feel slower, try to mix things up. New and novel experiences help break that sense of time compression and make your days feel fuller. Now, let's get into the role of routine. As we age, life tends to fall into more predictable patterns. We go to work, we come home, we cook dinner, and maybe a little Netflix before bed. These routines, while comforting, don't leave much room for novelty. And as we discussed earlier, novelty is a big factor in how we experience time. Children and young adults tend to have more first-time experiences. First day at school, the first sleepover, the first crush. All these novel experiences leave a bigger imprint on the brain, making time actually feel slower. But as we settle into adulthood, many of our firsts have already passed, and life becomes a series of repeated tasks. As a result, seems to blur together and pass more quickly. This is one reason why people often recommend trying new things as a way to slow down time. Taking up a new hobby, traveling to a new place, or even changing up your routine can give you that sense of novelty back, and it can make your days feel longer and more memorable. Another key factor in how we perceive time is memory. When we look back on our lives, it's the moments that stand out, both the good and the bad, that we remember most clearly. These moments stretch out in our minds, making that period of time feel longer. But as we get older, we tend to have fewer standout memories, which can make time seem like it's speeding up in retrospect. Emotional intensity also plays a role. Have you ever noticed how intense moments, like a really exciting or scary event, seem to last longer in the moment? That is because strong emotions make our brain pay more attention, and it encodes those memories more deeply. As we get older, we often experience fewer of these emotionally intense moments, which in turn can contribute to that feeling of time speeding up. So, now that we know why time seems to speed up as we get older, is there anything we can do about it? Well, kind of. While we cannot actually slow down time, there are ways to stretch our perception of it. Seek out new experiences, because as we have learned, novelty makes time feel slower. Try doing something you've never done before, like taking a different route to work, picking up a new hobby, or even learning a new skill. Your brain will thank you for it. Be mindful, as practicing mindfulness can help you stay present and make the most of your time. Instead of rushing through your day on autopilot, try to focus on the detail of your surroundings and your activities. It is a great way to savor the moment and slow things down. Change your routine, as even small changes to your daily routine can help break the monotony and make time feel fuller. Try switching up your workout routine, cooking a new recipe, or even rearranging your furniture. And last but not least, create more memories. Focus on making new memories with the people you care about. Whether it's planning a trip or just spending a fun afternoon together, creating new emotionally intense memories will help time feel richer when you look back on it. So, the next time you get yourself wondering why the weeks seem to fly by faster and faster, remember, it's all about how your brain processes time. Those long childhood summers felt endless because your brain was soaking up all that novelty. As we age, routine takes over and our brain starts compressing time, making it feel like everything is speeding up. But by seeking out new experiences, practicing mindfulness, and breaking up the monotony of everyday life, we can stretch out our perception of time, even if just a little. And that's a wrap for today's Midnight Question. I hope you enjoyed this nostalgic look at why time seems to speed up as we get older. If you have any more curious questions keeping you up at night, leave them in the comments, and who knows, we might explore them in the next episode. Until then, stay curious and make every moment count. I am Mari, and this is Midnight Question.